Master of Formalities by Scott Meyer, published in 2014. Should you read the book? No. But before I give you my reasons, here's a brief summary. Brief-ish. Two powerful families, they've been in this intergalactic war for generations, and they seem destined to remain at war indefinitely until the son of one of these families, Heinrich Hahn, is captured by the House Jacobitis. Seeing an opportunity for peace, Wallard, the master of formalities for House Jacobitis, he advises his queen to do the unthinkable, to adopt Heinrich as her own son, with the long-term goal of bringing their two families together. So how does kidnapping someone's son and claiming them as your own child bring about peace? You may be asking yourself. I don't really know. The book often makes leaps in logic that don't quite make sense. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's move on. So let's start with the pros here. Just give me a second to think about what they are. There's a twist that I didn't see coming. That's something, right? Sure, it didn't pop up until the final quarter of the book, but when it did, I was pleasantly surprised. Also, some of my earlier problems with the novel, they went away when I realized there was a deeper story here, one that will certainly play into the sequels. Probably. The final quarter of the book is where it really shines, at least when compared to the rest of it. I found myself more interested in what was happening than I was previously. Thirdly, there is a conversation at a Jacobitis sporting event that's actually pretty great. It takes place between these two fathers, and it's insightful, it's funny, and it emphasizes just how many things we often inherit from our parents, even when we wish that were not the case. I also like the creativity I saw in the book. Master of Formalities, it's a unique story set in a unique world that's told from multiple unconventional perspectives. Okay, so maybe the two warring family aspect is not that original, but the way the war is fought and the politics that are involved, those are quite original. And the technology, I'm a bit mixed here. You have a couple technological elements that are very unique, very original, at least in their applications, and crazy advanced, but everything else isn't really up to that level. And the distinctions made between the different societies, those are also interesting. They're exaggerated and overly simplified, much like the book's characters, I guess. And the Han, let's just face it, they seem like the spawn of Satan, more so than actual human beings. But hey, interesting doesn't necessarily mean rational, right? It's interesting to see the interactions between characters of vastly different ideologies, even if the results feel a little bit cartoony. Unfortunately, as I'm sure you've already guessed, there are plenty of cons in this book, some of which I've already mentioned in my pros list. I'm often proactive that way. Sometimes. So let's start with one of those, specifically the bit about the characters in Master of Formalities being cartoony. Now, exaggerated characters can be fun, and at times they are in this book, but there isn't much else to them. They're walking stereotypes, they rarely act intelligently, they're over the top, and lacking in dimension or development, which is a rather large problem in a book that's primarily dialogue and contains a rather central character, Heinrich, whose defining quality seems to be being annoying. That isn't to say that none of the characters develop. 2, maybe 3 of them do to varying degrees. But I didn't know enough about who these people actually were to appreciate those changes or to understand what caused them. Also, remember that bit I mentioned about the novel having a clever twist? It had one semi-clever twist among many that were not that clever. Are they surprises? Yes, but they often only prove surprising because they don't actually make sense in context or they're never hinted at. This is especially true when it comes to the characters doing surprisingly clever things. And the formalities? Can somebody please tell me why these absurd, convoluted rules exist? Why would people follow them? Why would people universally agree to be governed by these meaningless traditions? They're tedious and time-consuming. Good form this and good form that. Who cares? It's boring enough to read about these conventions. I can't imagine how boring it would be to live. Even the Han Empire, they adhere to these rules, which doesn't really make sense, because who cares about their galactic standing? I doubt any of the galaxy's civilizations care to deal with the Han, ever. Lastly, let's talk about the war itself. These two ruling houses are constantly killing each other over a planet neither lives on, but they politically refrain from using their most powerful weapons? Why? Are they at war or are they not? What are their actual objectives here? Clearly it's not to win. Are they just trying to hold the line? What does that actually accomplish? Why throw away lives and resources on a perpetual stalemate? Wait, I hope this isn't some supposed, I don't know, weird commentary on the war in the Middle East. That would be unfortunate. But let's not go there. In conclusion, don't read the book. Its ending does improve on the story, but it was so long in coming. Plus, many of the more interesting mysteries are never explained because, sequels. If I were to sum up its problems in just one word, it would be boring. The characters aren't fleshed out, and they rarely do anything. We follow one conversation after another, half of them spoken by members of the House Jacobitis' kitchen staff. There is a war going on in the background, but we never actually see it. Events move at this glacial pace. Basically, the book just isn't worth the effort. If your interest in Master of Formalities is based on Meyer's other series, Magic 2.0, you should be forewarned that this particular title lacks off to be the wizard's humor or sense of fun. Regardless, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Peace.